We are here at the Chamber Gala, and it is not a Chamber Gala interview if we do not interview the Lake Norman Chamber chairperson. How are you, young lady?
I'm doing well. Thank you for calling me young.
You know, there are people in this world that you just enjoy spending time with, and you are one of those people that are just special. You've been special on the board, you've been a special leader, and you've been just a special treat to the community. Talk a little bit about how you can do all of the things that you do in your life, because there are many of them.
There are. In addition to working a full-time job, and my husband and I own businesses together. Current chair of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce and incoming commissioner for the town of Cornelius, among a few other things. I would say I have to credit the people around me, because you can't do it without a support system. And my husband is incredibly supportive. My children are supportive. They're grown. They're out of the house, so I don't have a lot to do with them right now. The dogs kind of take care of themselves, so that helps a little bit too. But it really is a support system. It's the staff that we have, both at the Chamber, at the town of Cornelius, and at our businesses, the support people that I have at work, and just all of the people in the community who constantly offer their support and help us do what we do, just to volunteer and be good at it.
Joe, this morning we were sitting there reviewing the annual report, looking at the slideshow of all the people involved, and Tricia said, wow, we've really got some great programs. Talk about those programs. You know,
did she say, wow, she was a part of half of them?
Well, she really was. But coming onto the board, or maybe before you got onto the board, what attracted you to the Chamber of Commerce, and what programs do you think has aided you as a business person?
Well, that's a great question. So, you know, when we started our business, we were already chamber members through a different consulting firm that my husband was in. But starting our small business and being able to integrate with the community to really talk about our business and the programs, the business after hours and the mixers, the Small Business Week was a huge program for us. The Business Expo is constantly a program where we can you know, demonstrate our business and what we do. And it's amazing to me. Every year, the Business Expo, it brings in more people, and people still come and say, oh, you have a range on Bailey Road? Wow, I didn't know that. We've only been there for 9 years. It's amazing. But those programs, and then, you know, what really brought me into the Chamber and working as a volunteer in the Chamber was the Diversity Council and the work that they did with the Women's Conference and with diversity in our area. And it was just so impactful as a small business owner who was a woman in an industry predominantly, you know, male industry. It really helped in the programs that the Diversity Council did to help educate women in business. So there's just way too many programs that I actually have a speech that I'll say tonight where I talk about a lot of the programs, but way too many programs to count, but they were all impactful in terms of building our business. And the Chamber has just been a terrific resource for that.
So I can remember having this conversation last year. I asked you what you wanted to accomplish. How many of those things did you actually get done? Did you get them done?
Well, you know, and you'll hear me talk a little bit about this tonight. You know, the outgoing chamber chair at the time, who was just a terrific person, Joshua Doby, told me, and these were his words of advice, pick 3 things. If you do 3 things well, then you will have a successful year. And I had to pick 3 things, and I'm thinking, what 3 things am I going to pick? And I looked at the front of the brochure of the program, and it was right there. Connect, engage, and inspire. And so my entire year has been about connecting, engaging, and inspiring our membership. And I think within those 3 things, we accomplished so much. I'll talk about that more tonight because there's too many things to list here. But it has been a whirlwind of a year in putting programs together and helping our chamber membership to connect, engage, and be inspired.
I know this for a fact, that there's a lot of women that you inspire and motivate. You probably don't even know this, right? And have you given it some thought that when you wake up in the morning and you try and create these 5 careers that you have, right? That you are actually impacting not only your community, but the business people and business women around you. Have you given that any thought at all?
I try not to think about it because it's a little overwhelming, to be honest with you. Because if I screw up, I don't want to destroy anybody else's career. But you know what? My greatest resource for helping to inspire women is my own daughter. And I look at her and what she's been able to accomplish. She's a graduate of UNC Charlotte. She is an accounting analyst working for Carrier Corporation, and she is now in public service. She's serving on the Huntersville Town Board in the capacity of developing their long-range plan with them. She's active and involved in her community. She's active and involved in her church. She doesn't say no to anything, kind of like her mom. So I try to encourage her to pick and choose and say no to a few things, but if I can inspire her, then I think I've done my job.
You know, Tricia, a lot of my board chairs, after they've served their term, want to take a little time off. You jumped right back into it, probably in a tougher role. Talk about inspiration. What inspired you to run for town board, and what do you hope to achieve as a commissioner for the town of Cornelius?
Well, I looked at the makeup of our town board, and I thought, I think they could use some little different talent. Maybe the voice of a small business owner, maybe the voice of a woman, because the makeup was all men. And so when the opportunity came up, and I really wasn't thinking about it, but I was active in the town. I served on the Cornelius Education Options Study Commission, and I wasn't really thinking I would run, but then one of the town commissioners decided he was not going to run for re-election. And my phone started ringing, and people started asking, what do you think? Do you think you can run? Do you think you want to do this? And I thought, oh, that's going to be a lot of work. But you know what? I had a passion. I always have had a passion to serve, and when people ask me to do something, I generally say yes. So I threw my hat in the ring, and I am now an incoming actually, I've been serving now for 6 weeks, and I said this morning in a Focus Friday that it's like drinking from a fire hose. The stuff you learn in 6 weeks is just amazing. I mean, it's been an incredible journey just in these past 6 weeks, and I know it's going to be fantastic 2 years for the town of Cornelius.
Joe, I got a follow-up question to that, because this morning also we talked about something. When you opened up the range at Lake Norman, a gun range, when people could be concerned about all kinds of variety of things, what was it the town of Cornelius was really dwelling on?
Yeah, we were under a conditional zoning hearing and standing before the town board, and the set of commissioners didn't really have any concerns over things like noise or safety. They were very concerned, however, over the color of the building. Because it was slightly too orange for that particular corridor. And, that also inspired me to say, we need to make it a little bit easier on our small businesses to start up in the town of Cornelius. So that's going to be one of my priorities in working on the town commission.
And Joe, I think I met you about 15 years ago. One of the things you said is we have got to be more business friendly. We have got to get the town board, who then were made up of some volunteers that were not volunteers, but retirees. They need to understand that their codes and their decisions are impacting local business.
Yep, absolutely correct. And if I had to handpick one, this is the lady I would handpick. You are speaking with the busiest woman in Cornelius. Thank you, Tricia, for everything you do for the community.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Looking forward to a terrific night tonight.
Thanks.